Honey is vegan. I don't really care if a bee is like, "Where's all the honey I've been making?" They probably get over it really fast. Their brains are very small. Bees choose to live in the box where they know damn well that a large fraction of the honey will periodically be removed, instead of simply leaving that place like they're perfectly able to do, because the human box comes with an invulnerable titan to guard them against all threats. The bees consider the payment offered to this colossal mercenary to be a pretty good deal. Bees know about supply and demand. Protection money. Protection honey. I was so totally not aware that people didn't know that being sorted into houses was a real thing in UK schools. It's not something made up just for the Harry Potter world. It's a real schooling system. I was in the St. George house at my school and everyone had the same attitude to prefects as everyone in the Harry Potter world did to Percy Weasley, I can assure you. How do you get the hat to talk? We had them in my high school here in Australia, and let me tell you, I wish we didn't. I'm torn between my feelings about OP's statement and my feelings about your school's officially sponsored raunchy furry artwork. How do you get the hat to talk? You guys have state-assigned personas and just never told anyone? Pirates of the Caribbean really introduced an eldritch octopus man who kills indiscriminately and torments the dead as their poster villain, and then you watch the movies and it's like, oh no, actually, the worst villain in this series is a small white British man who functions as the herald of capitalism. And that was very, very brave of them. Here is a man so heartless, he has literally cut his own heart out of his chest. But he's still not as evil as the fucking East India Trading Company. To this day, I think my favorite film theory that I accept in my mind as canon is the theory that Shrek literally came up with his own name on the spot as he first meets Donkey. The catalyst from the theory comes from how uncertain he sounds when first introducing himself. The, Shrek definitely sounds like something he kinda came up with on the spot. It's even supported when he first introduces himself to Fiona, saying it in almost the same way. But it's a theory that seems to make sense. None of the signs or decorations in his swamp are marked with his name, unless you count the title card in the mud, but that's probably not diegetic. There's no record of his existence outside of simply Ogre. That's all he'd ever really been to the world. The theme of him being seen as a monster is obviously seen throughout the movie quite a bit, but that can also be seen with how he's addressed throughout the movie. I took a look over the transcript for the point. Up until halfway through the movie, there are only two characters who say Shrek's name. Shrek himself, once when introducing himself, and Donkey. The first time anyone else says his name is when he first saves Fiona and asks his name, still believing him to be Prince Charming. Not sure why people don't automatically say shape-shifting when asked what they want their superpower to be. You could become anyone you want, even fictional characters. Anyone. Cosplay would always be spot on. Dysphoria wouldn't exist. Perfection. Rob a bank and disguise yourself as a stray pen lying on a shelf when the cops come. There are two kinds of people. Just imagine a single pen surrounded by $500,000. Fantasy characters. Jeez. Me. Who the fuck spread Christianity there? This 2-year-old shitpost just gained 100 notes. Who the snickerdoodles dug it up? Me in the back of my head every time I'd like to add swears to high fantasy settings. Everything is a minced fucking oath. You can't even say goodbye because it's short for God be with ye. What? I was reading a book and there was champagne. And I was like, these guys don't even have France. My favorite tidbit about Kung Fu Panda is that China saw it and was like, how the fuck did we not think of this before? The film's protagonist is China's national treasure and all the elements are Chinese. But why didn't we make such a film? Wu Jiang, president of the China National Peking Opera Company, was cited as saying by Xinhua news agency on Saturday. China, we love Kung Fu and we love pandas. America makes a film about a panda who learns Kung Fu. China, what the fuck? The funniest thing in the entire Pirates of the Caribbean series is definitely that one scene at World's End where they have Parlay, but Davy Jones is part of it, and rather than have him stand in the shallows or something, they get a big bucket of water and have him stand on it on shore. Who thought of that idea? Who thought, put Davy Jones in a bucket of water, and had the guts to suggest it aloud? And then who went, hey, that sounds like a great idea? At some point, someone told Davy Jones their idea was for him to stand in a bucket of water, and he agreed to it. Stands majestically in a bucket. I'll have y'all know that my favorite figure skater's parents told her that to get a dog she'd have to do well at the Olympics, and she went and won the frickin' Olympics when she was 15. Her, I want a dog. Her mom and dad, yeah, sweetie, do well at the Olympics and we'll see. Alina Zagatova, okay. Did she get that well-deserved dog she wanted? I don't know if her parents got her one, but the fucking president of Japan gave one to her when he found out that she wanted one. This teen to her parents every single day. Bye, I'm off to walk my presidentially ordained victory dog. The default way for things to taste is good. We know this because tasty means something tastes good. Conversely, from the words smelly and noisy, we can conclude that the default way for things to smell and sound is bad. Interestingly, there are no corresponding adjectives for the senses of sight and touch. The inescapable conclusion is that the most ordinary object possible is invisible and intangible, produces a hideous cacophony, smells terrible, but tastes delicious. And yet this description matches no object or phenomenon known to science or human experience. So what the fuck? This is what ancient Greek philosophy is like. Something happened to a friend of mine that I have to describe in green text form because I feel like it's the best medium for the story. Give me a minute. Be me. Gay. Recently out. At my first Pride. Having a good time. Someone throws a rainbow rubber ball into the crowd. I catch it. Hear a girl behind me go, "Damn, my dog's gonna be so disappointed you caught that." Turn around. She's holding a leash. There's a guy with a dog collar and a puppy mask on the end of the leash. He says, "I really wanted that ball." Hosier the half cat is still such a good SCP. No extraneous edginess, just a cat whose back half is in another unknown dimension. Her containment procedures include a warning not to give her cheese because she'll just get upset that you didn't have more. Aren't SCPs supposed to be in some way dangerous? No, just weird and magic. They're only required to be supernatural in some respect. Unfortunately, a lot of people do think they need to be dangerous, which has resulted in the murder bucket joke, where things are an SCP solely due to being a mundane item that murders people. Some of the more terrifying ones are those that don't actually kill anyone, and some of the best entries involve no murder whatsoever. So, my dad is a college professor, and he just got alerted recently that in an effort to go paperless, the faculty is having their printers taken away. My dad decided to take this opportunity and create a meme? So, he goes proudly up to me and tells me, "I created a meme," and lo and behold, me running away from my building with my office printer and paper after CSU decides to go paperless. My dad's first meme. He was so proud of it, and he emailed it individually to other faculty, and nobody gave him any acknowledgement. He came into my room all sad. Please share to give my father the meme support he deserved. I spend so long trying to read the word they spell out. Hint, they don't. I'm an idiot. Holy shit, I'm not an idiot. I'm just slow. If you let your eyes blur, it says gay sex. Oh my god. Apparently, no one was paying attention to middle school language arts when we learned what a fucking protagonist was. The protagonist is not the good guy, the protagonist is just the guy the story is about. There was a big drug problem at my school, so they hired a police officer to supervise students, but now he's playing Magic the Gathering with the video game club. Today I learned Parasite was an accepted role in Roman society, in which a person could live off the hospitality of others in return for flattery, simple services, and a willingness to endure humiliation. Bring this back for real. We still have Twitch streamers. Can someone bring capes back into fashion? When the fuck did they even go out of fashion? Why the fuck did they even go out of fashion? Therapist, you're a nice person. Friends, you're a nice person. Family, you're a nice person. Me, yeah, but what if I'm actually shit? Me, oh fuck, I tricked so many people into thinking I'm nice. That's just how shit I am. This post is very loud. Okay, so Q2Q Comics and I are currently apartment hunting for the fall, and I just stumbled upon the weirdest apartment ever. Like at first, wow, this looks nice. How can it be only $650 a month? Something's gotta be wrong with it. And then you find the floor plan. Like, what the fuck is this place? And you realize it's on the bottom of 3 apartment units? Clearly this was meant to be one big place. This is your entrance. Have fun living in the maintenance hallway under the rich folks. It comes with such stunning features as creepy-ass long murder hallways, a room with many doors, all closets, a bathroom that's clearly just meant for storage, and whatever this thing is in your kitchen. Honestly, I'd totally live in this amateur Counter-Strike mapper's first map. I don't give a shit that the bathroom is in another time zone. It's cheaper than anything around here. This is literally the first level of Hitman 2. What the fuck? What does it all mean? Furry fandom Wikipedia article edited anonymously from US House of Representatives. Someone in Congress is a furry and we'll never find out who. Cards Against Humanity founder threatens to publish web history of Congress members in privacy bill protest. Or will we? Look at this and just try and tell me that all three of these women don't look exactly the same. Try and tell me that Disney isn't lazy when it comes to creating women. Wow, two sisters and their mom. You're right. Why on earth would they look the same? Learn that astronauts Mark Lee and Jan Davis married in secret 9 months before their joint flight to the ISS and didn't tell NASA until it was too late to train replacements. They're the only married couple to have ever flown in space together. I know everyone's like, the only way to kill Dracula is a stake through the heart. But in modern times, I think we should at least try hitting him with a very fast car. Same energy as that Buffy episode where the big bad can't be hurt by any weapon forged. And she's like, it's been 500 years, are you sure? And annihilates it with a fucking M136 rocket launcher. In today's modern society, Riddler would be the easiest of Batman's villains to rehabilitate. All you have to do? Give him a job designing or running an escape room facility. It's perfect for him. A non-violent outlet for feeding his need to flex how intelligent he is. He still gets to create his elaborate puzzles and riddles, and people will willingly pay him to lock them up in a room where he can mess with them for an hour or so. Someone get Bruce Wayne on the phone. I have an idea for a thing he should invest in. If you win and successfully escape the room, you get a sticker that says, I'm as smart as Batman. Blaming Todd Howard for absolutely everything that goes wrong in Bethesda games has become such a habitual behavior for me that I feel like it's gonna bleed into my real life interactions. Watch me walk over to receive my degree, trip on the carpet, and just lay there in my graduation cap and gown saying, why would you do this, Todd? Todd Howard is an alum from my college and he comes to give guest talks sometimes, neither of which I knew my freshman year when I dropped my bag on the way to class. Joked, I see we left clipping on, Todd Howard, to my friends, and was met with a very exasperated sigh from behind me, and actual Todd Howard says, is this what we're doing now? Cloaked in the fur of their slaughtered brethren. You have a fundamental misunderstanding of how yarn is made. In the old days of feudal Japan, a samurai warrior would shout, you are trying to view Flash content, but you have no Flash plugin installed. Truly ahead of their time. I had the gas man come who was very Texan, and he told me about my propane lines, and as he was walking through the living room, he spots one of my Miku figurines and goes, that looks like one of those Genshin Impacts, in his country accent. You just met Hank Hill, Tumblr user 1. You guys should drink more plain water. It's good for you. Tumblr user 2. Actually, you can drink whatever you want all the time. Tumblr user 3. Yee, and water is icky, sad face. Tumblr user 4. I literally can't drink plain water as I'll instantly start throwing up. Some people's bodies simply can't process it. You can't make blanket statements about what's good or not good for someone else's digestive system. Tumblr user 5. Oh, Tony the Tiger hairy armpits. Came out of my dad's printer at work today. Hi, if you're reading this message, it's highly likely that your printer is exposed to the public internet via port forwarding. This means that anyone on the internet with some technical knowledge can send print jobs to your printer, or worse, try to exploit it and use it as part of a global botnet. If you didn't intend for this, please look into disabling UPnP, Universal Plug and Play, on your router, or remove the port forwarding rule for the port 9100. A friendly catgirl hacker, :3. Today I learned a philosophy riddle from 1688 was recently solved. If a man born blind can feel the differences between shapes such as spheres and cubes, could he, if given the ability, distinguish those objects by sight alone? In 2003, 5 people had their sight restored through surgery, and no, they could not. I love when apparently deep questions turn out to have clear empirical answers. J.K. Rowling's editor, it's a bit strange that you have a story set here in England that doesn't have a single Irish character. J.K. Rowling, finishing up writing Mikko Carbomb's backstory. I was just thinking that. People whining about the Queen being a colonizer are full of shit. Name one country hurt by the Queen. In primary school, we had a creative writing assignment where we had to write about a character in a new strange situation, and I wrote about a squid that was somehow teleported from the ocean to the forest floor and slowly choked to death for 2 pages. And I'll never quite forget my teacher's face because it turns out she wanted "This new school is scary, I hope I make friends," and not a graphic description of a squid dying. Well, that's just the risk you take if you decide to teach creative writing. Pinocchio could tell us so much about the universe. He could randomly claim things like the Big Bang happened, and his nose would confirm or deny our theories. Pinocchio's not omniscient, you stupid fucking Redditors. His nose grows when he's intentionally being dishonest. Things heating up in the Pinocchio fandom. If the USA is so great, then why did they make a USB? Oh my god, you're from Italy? I love JoJo Part 5. Oh my god, you're from Greasy? I loved gay porn. That's what you sound like. And Greek people would be like, oh my god, really? Thanks. People making typos in group chats and then getting wailed on is extremely funny. Unless I'm the one making the typo, in which case you guys are not funny and being very immature. Me telling my story how I survived a plane crash and lived on a deserted island for a year. It was crazy. Friend who once got a text from me where I accidentally called the Grinch the Grink. Was the Grink there? I really enjoy just existing in hotels. The long identical hallways, the soulless abstract art, the weird noises the air conditioner makes, strange city lights in the window, 6 stories off the ground, strangers chatting in the hall, nothing in the dresser, no past, but an infinite present. Finally, someone understands. Character has frost powers. Me. Your backstory is family-related trauma, isn't it? Even if you don't like Halloween, you have to appreciate its position as the sole thing keeping Christmas from advancing even earlier into the year like a cancerous growth. The goth kids hold the line. 20 years of pickup truck design progress in one photo. It's so sad that they've been selectively bred for size and aesthetics over their health. Look at that pushed-in muzzle. There's no way the one on the right can breathe properly. Tired of "your feelings are valid" discourse. Sometimes my feelings are dumber than dog shit, and I have a responsibility to get a grip. How it's supposed to work. Your emotions are a response to your situation and surroundings. It is okay to feel the emotion. Now take that emotion and use your logical brain to decide which parts of the emotion fit the facts of the situation and which do not, and why. And how you're going to respond to said emotions, which is what the tweet said, and what therapists say. How people seem to interpret it. Any emotional reaction is perfectly fine, and I am not responsible for what I do out of emotion. What's a good slur for people with 2 legs? Hey guys, in my next campaign, I am playing a racist centaur. Somehow, all my characters end up racist. I don't know. What's up, front nuts? What happens to all your teen angst when you're 20? Like, where does it go? They diagnose it as anxiety. Kids these days are so cringy with their Fortnite dances. Are none of y'all going to acknowledge the shit we did? Are we not going to acknowledge Gangnam Style? What does the fox say? If we go older, hamster dance, Crazy Frog, the fucking duck song, the llama song, Charlie the Unicorn. Let he who is without sin throw the first stone. Sometimes I think about the fact that DreamWorks was working on the Prince of Egypt and Shrek at the same time and would apparently send people to work on Shrek instead of the Prince of Egypt as a form of punishment. The night I posted this, I couldn't find a source, and I've been wondering ever since if maybe it was just some kind of fucked up fever dream or something, but no, it's real. As Shrek floundered, its status as the ugly stepchild at DreamWorks was reinforced. It was known as the Gulag, said one animator. If you failed on Prince of Egypt, you were sent to the dungeons to work on Shrek. The assignment was referred to as being Shreked. I learned something today. Me. So after it became apparent that an offensive word for people with mental disabilities had become a term of abuse, educators and psychiatrists switched to other terms like handicapped or special needs in an attempt to Georgie Orwell, whom I've dragged forward in time with my arcane powers because I'm lonely and want someone to talk to. You have a telephone in your pocket? It listens to you all the time? Me. Never mind about that. The point is, young people now mock each other by sending the wheelchair emoji. That's a type of electronic hieroglyph. suggest mental deficiency and shout, "Special!" while doing offensive imitations of disabled facial expressions and posture. So any attempt to lexicographically make crime think impossible is pretty much doomed because the meaning of words in everyday conversation can't be controlled by a dictionary entry, no matter how many Ministry of Truth employees or wheel. It reports your location to the telephone company at all times? Cavemen adorned in white coats and safety goggles working diligently with welding gear and beakers on Project Wheel. Cave scientists huddle around a rotating holographic projection of a prototype throwing spear, wearing full hazmat suits and watching from a bunker 500 meters away as the first berry is picked. Hashtag Robin Corps. If I were a drink, I'd be cherry vanilla Cokie. If you were a drink, what would you be? Everyone's like bleach or sewage, please calm down, edgelords. I hate being high, why I keep hearing footsteps? Are you walking? Oh shit. My biology professor has such a chaotic energy about him. Last week I went to his office hours and somehow we ended up on the topic of gay marriage. He said that when he lived in Texas, they changed the law to define marriage as between a man and a woman in a house of religious worship with the intention to have children. So he filed his taxes as single. And when they called him up like, "You filed married last year," he was like, "You changed the law. I was married by a judge in a courthouse and I have no intention of having kids." And they told him, "You know who that law was for." And I guess he hung up on them and did not, in fact, pay taxes as a married man that year. Chaotic good. No, this is lawful good. He is following the law. Chaotic doesn't just mean cheeky. This is like how Sweden stopped classifying homosexuality as an illness because people started a campaign of calling in gay to work. Malicious compliance is one of the best tools in the arsenal of civil rights activism. I thought H.P. Lovecraft was a Minecraft YouTuber. This is humiliating. He's racist enough he could have been. Underrated tag. I'm sorry, but perfect time to use this image. Cannot even begin to imagine the Blade Runner cyberpunk shit this ladybug I found on my RGB keyboard was going through. Putting a different country's flag on my lawn to make it harder for GeoGuessr players to guess where they are. Lawn. United States. I worked with toddlers and preschoolers for 3 years. Sometimes I accidentally slip and tell a friend to say bye to an inanimate object. Say bye bus, and occasionally they unthinkingly just do it. I'm glad there's a teacher version of accidentally called teacher mom. When I worked at Medieval Times, occasionally I would slip in real life and call people my lord. One time during family prayer, Dad began, "Our Father who art in heaven, American Airlines, how can I help you?" One time my dad went to the White Castle drive-thru and the lady, who was supposed to say, "Welcome to White Castle, what's your crave?" asked, "Welcome to White Castle, what's your problem?" She apologized profusely while my dad proceeded to lose his shit laughing. Yesterday I went to Wendy's and the girl said, "Welcome to McDonald's," and then just sighed. Anti-revenge narrative this, anti-revenge narrative that. I personally think that Inigo Montoya had the right idea when he stabbed Count Rugen in the gut and said, "I want my father back, you son of a bitch." A lot of revenge arcs end with the hero saying, "There's nothing you can do to bring my loved one back, so me seeking revenge is pointless." The Princess Bride's revenge arc ends with Inigo Montoya saying, "There's nothing you can do to bring my loved one back, so there's nothing that can save you." You ever see a fully safe-for-work artist draw a weirdly detailed armpit and you just know they just flew too close to the sun? Trying to draw good feet, but not so good that people think I'm into it. Finger looking good? And its ontological opposite. Toe-sucking evil. Colonel Sanders and Quentin Tarantino locked in Mortal Kombat. Girl, you know I love your theories about queer coding in television, but sometimes those two male characters are stood that close because they need to get them both in the frame. My dad PayPals me $20 every exam season for Red Bull and Snickers because he swears by a trick he used to do in college where he would chug a Red Bull and eat a Snickers in the exam hall before every single one of his exams, and he did well on all of them. Legitimately swears to this day that it works and makes me do it. The first time I tried it, I also knocked that exam out of the park. It would take 2 more years for either of us to figure out that we both had low blood pressure and what all that caffeine and sugar was making us experience was known as normal blood pressure allowing us to concentrate better. My dad still swears that it was the Red Bull and Snickers and not the medical equivalent of using the wrong equation and getting the right answer. I skipped class today after having a panic attack and then got an ominous email from my professor titled Maggie Simpson with only a photo of Maggie Simpson attached. This is a nightmare to me. I think everybody has their "this game sucks and nobody should play it" 8 out of 10, 1,000 hours played game. What's yours? I don't think the Joker chemicals really did all that when he fell in. I think he just wanted an excuse to be like that. Joker. The Joker chemicals made me crazy. Arkham Doctor. That was a mild detergent. Joker. Guys, please, I'm a Twitter migrant. What happened with that old dog sanctuary blog? Please educate me. So there was a dog shelter for senior dogs called Old Friends Senior Dog Sanctuary. They had a couple social media pages, among them a Tumblr page. They'd repost posts from their Facebook about the different dogs at the shelter, very cute stuff. This goes on for months. It gets popular because people love dogs. One day the blog, entirely out of the blue, posts, "I just want to get dicked down again," // and then never posts again. Everyone involved was like, "Hey, what the fuck?" So they messaged the Facebook page and they were like, "Hey, is the person running your Tumblr page okay? They've been acting real weird." And the person running the Facebook page was like, "Huh? We don't have a Tumblr page." What do teens like? Is it memes? Memes about skeletons? Piss? Communism? This post is 20 times funnier if you imagine a CEO shouting it at his board of directors. I'm gonna watch Doctor Who in chronological order, by the time period they travel to. The worst idea I've ever heard. I love it. Really, the main problem is politicians have forgotten they can be killed. For legal reasons, this was merely an observation, not a suggestion, especially a suggestion for anyone living in the nation of Japan. Today I learned that in the early days of radio, advertisers were hesitant to invest in radio ads because they feared an ad where you couldn't just turn the page if you didn't like it, as you could in print, would come off as pushy and invasive. Go back. Sitcom where people gradually get killed off and their spot in the opening title theme is replaced with dead silence. I'd like to question your definition of sitcom. Little girl came up to my door dressed as a shark and I gave her M&Ms and she said, "Thank you, I love you." And her mom said, "You're supposed to say Happy Halloween." And the little girl said, "She gave me Nem-Nems, I love her." We lost it when songs started being uploaded on YouTube called Speed Up plus Pitched, TikTok version, like call it what it's called. It's Nightcore. Respect the ones who came before you and put an anime girl on the thumbnail. If you are a game designer and you force me to kill wolves and you have them make sad puppy noises, I'm killing you. See, this never happens in Spider Solitaire for Windows. Imagine having sex with a ghost and then someone walks into your room and they see your asshole widening and narrowing for no reason. Imagine praying to God and going to church. Tired of dumbass nihilist shit. Been there, done that. Everything matters, actually. Like, just factually, every goddamn thing affects something, even if it's not anything huge or obvious. Things cannot exist without having any impact on anything else. Saw a post in some space tags recently that was like, the galaxy with the Earth, the galaxy without the Earth, with the same picture twice, and the universe doesn't care, and that's fucking stupid. Oh, you can't see this planet from that far away? Shut up. Even ignoring everything going on the planet, our gravity affects the orbit of the rest of the shit around here. You can't see the moon from that far away either, but its gravity still pulls the tides. Eat my ass. Oh, in the grand scheme of things? What about the little scheme of things? Huh? Ever thought about that, sad boy? The big picture is made up of brushstrokes. Fool. If any of you happen to be rich and generous, please buy me a hot air balloon and a fog machine. In return, I'll give you this picture. Please do not just right-click and save the picture. We're working on the honor system here. I can't believe I predicted NFTs. I will not download TikTok. If a TikTok is funny enough, it will breach containment and make its way onto another platform. It's quality control. Okay, but can someone explain to me why someone would need that many control panel windows open in Windows XP? That comment made me feel so fucking old. Breaking Bad, Fight Club, Rick and Morty, Clockwork Orange, and The Catcher in the Rye are all arguably good things. But if a man says they are his favorite book, movie, or TV show, run. Can someone explain this to me? They're all works that are examinations of compelling but deeply flawed, usually narcissistic and violent men. People rightly like all these works because they are good, but the implication of the original post is that if a guy says they are his favorite work, He's probably misunderstanding the point of the work and instead idolizing the male protagonist and is unable to recognize their flaws. Didn't even the creator of Fight Club advise against a relationship with anyone who said it was their favorite movie? Not just that, he also started refusing to sign for folks at book signings if they expressed admiration or admonishment of Tyler. At least one person he straight up asked, "You know he's the villain, right?"